Oh, it's this guy again. Oh my God.
Double.
Yeah.
Oh
What you
my
did the
God.
last time, but his confidence level is now high.
Oh my God. It's this guy again.
Eddie, right now, why you complaining?
If he had told me he was coming, I wouldn't have agreed to come here.
Ah, but Liverpool
Frank,
trashed him the last time now. So why are you scared?
Yeah, but I
Franco.
mean, look at where I am. Look at where he is. I have nothing to say.
Franco, how you been, man? It's been a minute.
I'm great, man. How are you, Dubs?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
It's good to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, you know. Smile
See,
around and smiling.
smiling because they are
I
talking to
see
you.
you came into the video laughing.
I had to,
Well,
you know.
Look, Dapo, I know I've known you long enough to know why you're laughing, but we don't have to talk about last night, all right?
Last night gave me hope. Watching that match, yeah.
I don't think so. I think Arsenal should be scared because at Liverpool won, then maybe the Arsenal. But for them to lose to Man City, draw with Chelsea, definitely they'll win that game. Definitely.
I went into that game saying that, oh, I hope Liverpool win, so that we won't come to Anfield on the back of them losing 2 matches and they'll be up for it. But seeing the way they defended yesterday, I don't even care anymore. We're not Chelsea. If they defend that same way against us, it'll be bucket loads.
Don't worry. Klopp was rotating. He was keeping everyone fresh.
Well,
for you.
I think so. Actually, I actually agree. I think he did have an eye on the, which I found weird. Why is he resting for us?
Yeah, because I don't think it's for Arsenal. Really, more like to have a good performance at Anfield. I think that's more the thinking than it is against Arsenal. I think we need to.
Fans. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the fans. We've been away now about 4 games in a row. This is the first home game in about a month. So
I'm with you.
So this is more about the fans getting a good performance than it is for Arsenal. But then again, even when we're not at our best, Arsenal at Anfield, I mean, come on.
I tell you, easy win. Unless you want to dash them the league.
You see my big smile? You see my big smile? We've not won at Anfield, I think, about 10, 11 years.
Yes.
When we last won at Anfield. But there's a lot of things we haven't done for ages.
That you're doing now.
That we're doing now. Like
okay.
in a way at Tottenham.
What's up, Mike?
I'm no longer that place where I think, oh God, it's Anfield. I'm actually up for it now. I think, yeah, Anfield.
Of course you are. Of course you are. You know the last person that was up for it? You know the last person. Let me tell you something, Deepo. The last person that was up for it to come to Anfield, guess what happened?
Oh, man, don't worry.
7-0. They were very confident. They were very confident, just like you feel right now. And I don't blame you. And that was the same reason I told them. I don't blame you for feeling the way you're feling. But this is Anfield.
But Eddie, guess what? We saw that. So we know you guys have that in your locker. So we're ready. So we're not going to walk into it like Man U walked into like a car crash. They didn't know what was happening to them. On that game.
All right.
Well, Man U is not Arsenal too. Man U their style of play is different from how Arsenal style of play. We're a possession-based team, which in a way is a very risky with Liverpool because you guys used to be really good at high pressing. So with our style, with your current situation, you're not so great at pressing because I saw your game versus Man City. And Man City were able to have possession. They were able to dominate and control the game. And
let me ask you a question.
things.
How many teams have City played that they're not able to do what you just mentioned?
Arsenal.
Well, you lost.
Yes, we lost. But
and I wasn't at my best. So City doing that is not news.
Yes,
City doing that is not new.
But the whole strength of Liverpool is that high intense pressure to get the ball back quickly and now allow the opposition time to play, which that's your strength. That's your best thing that you bring with your midfield able to choke in your offense, pressing high, winning the ball back quickly and attacking the other team, keeping them under pressure. You don't do that very well anymore. And because you don't do that very well, it actually works against you, especially against Arsenal, who are really good at keeping possession of the ball. We're good at building from the back. We're good at keeping the ball. And once I bypass that your initial pressure, you guys are not that great defending. From the back recently, you've been very leaky. You've been looking a bit suspect. You've been looking like you're vulnerable, And with Arsenal, once you take the pressure and play past your initial press, you will be easier to get to. We have players that can hurt you. We have players that can come at you. Martinelli, Saka versus Trent, because I noticed you guys saved him during the week, hoping he'll get his legs, Hopefully it will help him do what you guys hope he would do, So Robertson versus Saka, that pressure, we're going to see how it works. Especially with Van Dijk being suspect these days, you pressing high means your defense shifting high. So for you to contain us, you have to give up that room and press up. And if you do, with Van Dijk not looking so, stable like he used to, we have the weapons to hurt Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool have been good at home. Yeah, but we're talking about Liverpool versus Arsenal.
Okay, so it's balanced now. I think the big boys are up. So the Liverpool fans, Annie, Franco, and I'll join them so that it will be 3-3. And then the small Arsenal people are down.
I always knew you were a Liverpool fan. You always pretend you're not. So it's okay. We finally have you coming out the closet.
No, she's not a Liverpool. No, she's not a Liverpool. She's a hoe. She only follows the winning team. Today, if it's Man U, tomorrow she's here, she's there. The only thing that's making her stand with Arsenal is because Arsenal is on top of the league. She doesn't want to be associated with failure.
No, her soft spot is Liverpool. Her soft spot is Liverpool. She knows.
100%. Liverpool's a team. It's only because they're having a bad season. That's why she's looking at like her side chick. Arsenal's like a side chick.
Yes.
No, the last time I chatted with her, I told her we are not a side chick. He said, "Are you with Arsenal or you against Arsenal?"
Arsenal, I told her. Arsenal, I told her.
So we are still 3 against.
For the purpose of today, right?
For the purpose of
Ladies continuity presenter. She's always objective. She has to be.
Yeah. But one concern that I will have about this game, though, is the fact that William Saliba looks like he's going to be a doubt. And with Rob Holding having to fill in there, Liverpool have pace, and Rob Holding doesn't do too well with pace. So that's the only concern that I have going to Anfield is Rob Holding having to come in and having to deal with Nunes coming from the left, or even Diego Jota. I'm assuming Nunes will play since he didn't start during the week. All the people they rested, they're going to have to play. So we'll see. But as a unit, Arsenal defend better. So I'm hoping we can somehow help reduce that, weakness that Holding has.
Why I'm very happy about this match is Arsenal is not under pressure. It is Liverpool that is under pressure. Arsenal is very. We are not really under the pressure.
What pressure is on Liverpool?
Exactly.
We have
The
no
pressure is on
pressure.
Arsenal.
No, well, you guys have not won in 2 games now. And
In three.
Sorry.
Yeah,
In
three
three.
games. 3
So
games.
we
Yeah,
are not under pressure.
but that doesn't mean pressure in a way like we have to win. We will still do what we do. We will still do what we do, and if we win, well. If we don't, we will still do what we do. We're not. I don't think the boys play. I mean, it's not an elimination game. I don't think they play the Premier League games in a way where they have to win or they're under pressure to win. I mean, of course, we need a performance. We need a reaction, especially after Chelsea. But as far as like pressure is concerned, if it was at Emirates, then actually we would be under pressure. If it was at Emirates, but if it was at home,
The reason why I said Liverpool. Sorry, the reason why I said Liverpool are really the ones. It's looking like there's no European football for them next season, as it stands.
and
It's
that's
looking
fine.
like. Oh, are you serious?
That's fine. I mean, look, let me.
Are you serious?
Let
I
me.
would love to see that. I would love to see that happen, and then I would love to see the expression on the VAR next season. Then I'll
That's
remind
okay.
you.
Everybody's different. Everybody's
And
different.
we Arsenal
I prefer-
already. Well,
Because
Let
it has
me-
always been- because it has always been Arsenal, they don't play European football. What are they doing there? Those secondary school boys. Oh, now Liverpool a mighty
Yeah,
Salah.
because we know because we know that this is an anomaly. You not being in Europe for 6-7 years straight was normal.
Exactly.
Us not being in Europe for a year
Stop
is an
it.
anomaly.
Stop
And I
it.
would rather
it.
actually for next year. This is what I want. I mean, if we make Champions League, great. I don't think we will. I think we're gonna end up fifth.
You want
But
still have? I want to make
but
up.
if
You want
if
It's
we
still have?
don't,
possible. It's
It's
still
not
possible.
possible.
but if we
With 9 matches,
listen,
with magic on our own.
but if we don't, I would love to play one game a week. I would love that. So my boys can actually go for the Premier League title. I would love to play one game a week. But if we do make Champions League, that's fine. If we make any kind of European football, that's fine. Except Conference League.
Eddie,
But
can I ask you a question?
yeah,
What is the feeling at Anfield now towards your team?
the feeling.
Like
August.
Are they behind them, or are they? Are
Oh,
they now
of course, the cup is always behind Anfield, but most fan base right now are looking for the end of the season. I feel like we've been, and this is what I tell when people ban me on the groups, many groups that I'm like, we're tired. It's not easy to do what this team has done in the last 5 years. At some point, there will be a dip. This is the dip, and then I mean, it's not.
Sorry. I won't take that. I won't allow you to land.
I don't care what you take.
I won't allow you to
Where were
land.
you in the last 5 years? What were you doing? You were not chasing City.
See,
So this year it's normal. Like no, it's not. There's nothing about this season that's normal. You being in first place is not normal. You already like this is not normal. So we are. So I'm allowed to say that. It's not been easy. It hasn't been easy to be Liverpool the last 5 years. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy losing 1 point last season, the league by 1 point. It hasn't been easy being out of the quadruple 2 trophies in 1 week. It's mentally draining, and these boys are tired. That's fine. Summer, if we get to rejuvenate summer, get some boys in the midfield, and we're back on it. And that's the only thing I'm looking forward to. As far as like the rest of the season, my mind has been out of the season since we can't get anybody healthy. 1 off, 2 on, 2 on, 3 off, 3 on, 5 off. Like it's so on and off. It's annoying. Like it's at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? Let the season end. We'll see what happens in the summer, and then we'll go again. We know everybody and their mama and their dog knows that Liverpool is not going to have this kind of season again next season. We all know that. So it's okay to say you won't accept it. It doesn't matter what you accept. It's just a fact. It's just true.
So
Don't accept it. That's fine. But you know what? You know what will be difficult for you to accept? If you don't win this league this season, you know when next you're going to win it?
I swear.
Do you know when next you're going to win it?
Next year? Next season?
You're going to win it next season if you don't win it this season.
We're going to be in contention next season to win it. We're going to be in contention.
You'll be in contention.
No one is
Newcastle
guaranteed.
is in contention also.
Yes, no one is guaranteed to win it. But we would be in contention. That's what you want every season, is to be in contention. You want to actually actively pursue to win the league. We'll be in contention to win it
this season. So that way all the support that you guys have been saying will be justified. Otherwise, you'd have 0 trophies all season. This is the only thing you have left, right? So we'll be in the same shoes.
Let's not talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about the game. Let's leave Arsenal winning the league or not. That's not my problem. Let's talk about the Liverpool Arsenal game at Anfield. Please.
I have one question for Annie. And the question I have is, do you know that since the day you guys sold money, Liverpool started failing? You guys started.
Please, Annie, don't even go into that one. Annie, please.
Okay.
Don't go into that one.
Doing, by the way?
Please don't mention Mane. Please don't mention Mane. I think every single person knows. Everyone cried. Everyone cried. It's like, why Mane? If you're going to sell someone, sell Salah. Don't sell Mane. But anyway, let's talk.
No, Salah is my world best too. Please.
Let's talk about the game. Let's
talk about this game. Let's talk about.
Okay, yeah. So Liverpool, Arsenal in Anfield.
Can I make
how the records are.
Lady, please finish what you were saying, and then I'll make a point.
The records are not always good for Arsenal. It's always in Liverpool's favor at Anfield. So let's start with the Liverpool guys. Franco, what do you think about that game generally? similarly on Sunday.
Records are records, like when, even in seasons when Man U was winning the league every year, they came to Anfield. Liverpool would win lots of those games. Anfield is Anfield. Anything can happen. In the ridiculous season that Liverpool has had this year, they've turned up at Anfield in some big games. Anything can happen. Of course it is. The pressure is all on Arsenal because Arsenal cannot afford to even draw. This is the problem. This is the problem Arsenal faces, is that they cannot afford to draw. But things also got very interesting recently, and I guess this one is to debate amongst this group now. Things got very interesting. Jesus is back. Trossard is playing well. What happens with Arteta's starting lineup? Because that could be a big problem if he overthinks this.
Yeah.
That's not a problem for us. We're not. That's not. We have less issues than that. No. I feel like I think Liverpool needs to be trying to figure out if Trent should be starting or maybe you need to play Gomez in order to stay that side.
Don't say Gomez.
He played the last game and he kept a clean sheet. So I mean, he did well your last game.
There is no way in any way that Trent is not playing that game. Trent is not starting that game. There's no way.
Actually,
I'm praying that's the case because
what do you mean? He's been playing the last 4 years and you still didn't win it.
Yeah, but the difference. There's a difference. We were not. He's
played against Martinelli. He's played against Jesus. He's played against Messi. He's played against Mbappe. He's played against all these players.
How did he go last time he played against Martinelli?
He played against Martinelli and we won. Wasn't that when he slipped and we got the assist in the was it FA Cup?
He didn't play Arsenal this season yet?
Did he play Arsenal this? Well, okay, so he played Martinelli. We're not even going to talk about that first game. We're not even going to talk about that first game. You guys know what she did that first game.
Sorry, I understand.
You played for a penalty. VAR wasn't working for the offside goal for some reason, right? And your handball against Gabriel or whatever his name is wasn't a penalty, right? We're not gonna. Let's not even talk about that first game. Let's just.
So you do remember the game? You do remember you are playing this season? You played Arsenal this season.
That was the game I was just talking about. We were denied the penalty. You were given a shitty penalty. Your offside goal, the Saka scored, was offside. VAR wasn't working.
The conversation was about.
But okay, so I'll give you one game. I'll give you one game. I'll give you the one game. I'll give you the one game this season. Did he not play 2 seasons ago? Did he not play 3 seasons ago? Did he not play last season?
Let's come back.
Thank you. So we're talking about this season, right? And we're talking about Trent versus Martinelli. So did you just not finally come around to realize that this season that matchup did not favor Trent when you played the first time? Did you
just figure out that one game doesn't make too much of a difference out of like how many games that Trent has won that battle
this season?
We're not talking about this season. This is an anomaly. Everybody knows this. You keep talking about this season, but I can't talk about last season.
No, because we're still in this season.
That's going to be played now.
Yes, based on
So it's 1-0. Martinelli 1, Trent 0. Right? Is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday. Okay.
I just read somewhere. Read somewhere that Klopp has asked the Premiership League if you can play 2 people with that position, Martinelli and Gomez. I guess
they usually do.
I hope they approve it. I hope they approve it.
So usually Liverpool it kind of balances out because your midfield does the work enough to do it, especially Fabinho. But we know Fabinho looks like he's like 48 years old now, so he doesn't look like the Fabinho that used to do the work for your midfield. And Henderson is going to have to do a lot of work trying to cover for Trent. So that midfield is going to open up more for Xhaka. Martinelli is still going to bring the ball. Zinchenko is going to come in, and you're going to have Xhaka coming into that space more to take advantage of that. Our midfield is going to take advantage of the fact that you're going to be moving so much to go and compensate for your team. And if you remember the last time we played you guys, yes, it was at our home, but we pressed you. We pressed teams. We're going to push you back. I watched your game against Chelsea. If Chelsea has good strikers, they should have scored at least 2-3 goals. They should have beat you. Yes, you changed some players in your team, but you still had the same midfield and the same attack that will still play against Arsenal. So defensively, you might bring in Van Dijk, which right now it's not really much between him and the other center backs. If you're really looking at it, so Robertson, even said, I think Tsimikas did better than him the last game that he played. That Robertson started, So I don't think there's really too much of a difference between that. If your team plays, and I saw your last game against Chelsea, and I think Arsenal will beat Liverpool. But again, like I said, you're gonna have your home advantage. You're gonna have the crowd behind you, but I don't think it's gonna make as much of an impact to this team compared to the previous seasons because this Arsenal team is not the team of the past. This team has more ruggedness. They're more in the. They know how to mentally be focused and be in the game. But of course, you have your chances. The game is never guaranteed either way. And where you have your joy, like I said, will be where we have Rob Holding filling in that hole. So other than that.
So Salah versus Tomiyasu or whoever it is no worry for you.
He's not playing. Tomiyasu's not playing.
And no, whoever it is. That's why I said whoever it is. I know Tomiyasu has a surgery. He's out for the season.
I think what Kobe's saying is Holding playing is weakening our defense.
Yes.
No, but surprised that Saliba can pop up. It could be a surprise.
What, to play?
Yes. He could come up.
That'd be very nice.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope that's the case. I would love that surprise. It will be a pleasant surprise. And yes, Andy, you're right. Salah will be. I can see that matchup being a problem, but I think Gabriel Magalhaes is gonna most likely drift in that position to cover, since we know Zinchenko tends to push up more. So he's gonna be the one that's gonna dealing with.
Let me ask
Salah
you a question.
more.
So you're talking about where we're gonna have to cover when you're playing. But you're not really worried about who you're going to have to cover when we're on that side, right? So if if Magalhaes goes over to cover, that draws Holding over, right? Nunes is already behind, right? Jota or Firmino, whoever is going to be in that, or Gakpo, whoever is going to be in that mood will be there. So how do you compensate for that extra man in that space?
They're not shifting because Holding is going to be in his position and Partey is already in that DM position, so he's going to also be parading over there doing his work. Plus, we have Ben White. Ben White has been one of the best right backs in the league this season. He's been consistent every week. Whoever you put against him, he stands up to it. So with Ben White being there, that's why I said this season is different, because we have other players that are able to pick up the slack. Yes, Holding might be a bit short, but I think the team as a whole know how to play their positions. They know how to be in positions to cover for each other. The unity is there. The chemistry is there. Arsenal in general right now have a better team dynamic. Liverpool, they're not fluid. They're not consistent. You don't quite know what you're going to get. It's a bit here and there. Some games they'll do this and that. Yes, at home, they've been doing well, but they also lost to Madrid at home, so they can be beat at home. They've had some great scores. They beat Bournemouth like what? Is it nine goals you guys scored? Yeah, and you scored 7 against United. So it gives you that false impression that Liverpool are incredible at home, like they're amazing. Yes, they have good records, but they can be beat. It's just about, again, the team that comes to play, how they come prepared, what they're playing for. Arsenal has a lot to play for. Liverpool really right now don't have much to play for. I don't think you guys care if you get that 4th position or not. Matter of fact, I think it would be better for you if you don't get it, but you're playing for your pride.
Well, Liverpool fans don't care. Liverpool fans don't care about the rest of the season. There's no pressure. Right. It's all gone. And everything you're saying is, of course, that's correct. Any Liverpool fan would agree with you, saying this is not the team it was. They are weak in several positions. Everyone would say that. I think we all know that. I think what should be a worry for your boys is when they do turn up, it's almost a surprise this season, because you don't know where they turned up from. Even the Man U game, it was 7-0. Of course it was. Man U had chances before Liverpool scored their first and second or whatever. And it's sometimes football is just mad. The problem is you guys cannot even afford to draw. That's the problem here. And actually, I'd love to hear your guys. How do you start? Because, in the past, we know Arteta has learned from one of the best. We know Pep tends to overthink things in Europe, especially, maybe change things. What does Arteta do with his best starting lineup on the weekend? What's your starting lineup?
Franco, one of the things I would like to remind you is when Jesus had injury, a lot of people were worried. Who's going to play that position? Who's going to this?
Yeah.
Who's going to that? And this guy came up. He turned up.
Eddie,
A lot,
Nketiah.
and a lot, yes, Nketiah, a lot of people did not believe he would deliver. So our
Yeah.
lineup should not be your headache.
Mm-mm.
The only thing we have, like Kobe and Dako has said, is just a little shaky in our defense. And to me, I feel it's not going to be obvious because the DM, either he uses Shaka or he uses Party, will have to do extra work to cover because they know where the problem is.
Yeah.
As I can tell, this season, as it stands, Liverpool has had a lot of lackadaistic attitude. They've been inconsistent. Today they win 7-0. After that, they lose like 2-3 matches. They come back again, they win. So they've not been consistent. Forget about us.
Yeah.
We know
and
that.
Franco, to answer your question, I personally, and I'm not Arteta, so Arteta might think differently. I personally will start with Jesus up front first because I think the way he's so hungry, the way he goes at guys and the pace he goes, will worry you that your defense is shaking already. The worst thing they want to see is Jesus just running around. I could see a penalty in the first 5 minutes out of panic. And no, seriously. And I think talking about holding, I think one thing that's probably will save us from any lacking that holding might have is the fact that I think we'll have a lot of possession of the ball anyway. So it'll be so rather than you guys coming at us a lot, it'll be more us going at you. I do think we are going to leak some goals, but I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Absolutely.
My prediction at the moment is like 4-2.
Don't be surprised.
There will be goals. There will be goals.
The holding will deliver. In those kind of matches, he could surprise us and he will deliver.
Don't get me wrong. He has in the past. My favorite holding is sometimes he gets too top on the 1-on-1. And I always go back to the time where it was against Kane and Son.
Tottenham, Son.
He was trying too hard. Sometimes he tries too hard to prove a point and then it goes wrong.
Yeah.
But hopefully this season he's not done that so far. The time he's come in, he's been okay. He's done well. There's one game I think he's done very well actually. And so fingers crossed. That's the holding we will see.
Yeah, Franco. So yeah, I think what you expect should be our regular starting lineup minus the injury, which will be Saliba. So Jesus should start, which actually makes sense, and Saka should start. So after putting pressure on Liverpool for a while and running at you, then you bring in someone like Trossard, who's a sneaky, tricky, more of a dynamic, swing you around player. So when you're a little fatigued and a player like that comes in, the impact is more.
How you sure he's not going to start Trossard?
Sorry, say that again.
How are you sure Trossard isn't going to be starting?
He might.
I mean, he could. It's not a bad thing if he does. But I'm saying most likely it's going to be our starting lineup is going to be Jesus up top because for that game, you kind of want us forward who's going to also put the defenders on the work. Jesus is going to give Van Dijk and if it's Konate in there, it will give them more work. It will make them feel his presence. He's unpredictable, but he's also very physical. Trossard is a very dynamic player, but he's not as physical. So Jesus, if the ball's in the air, he will destabilize the defenders. He will get the ball and he will face them with that kind of intent. So he gives them more work and pressure. And with Liverpool coming at you, you want to put their defense back under pressure immediately when you get the ball. So Jesus will be ideal, with Saka, of course, from the right and Martinelli on the left. The pressure, you put it on the Liverpool defense immediately, pushing them back. And if they do come forward, you get a chance to break that, you're putting them under pressure over and over again. So that's going to have to force them to pull back in order to either subsidize that or they keep coming and then we get a chance. I think there'll definitely be a lot of goals. I don't think a game like that with the way we play and the way Liverpool play, you expect there to be goals because we're going to push up to go put the pressure on them. They're going to push up to put the pressure on us. So if they win the ball on our end, chances are they're getting closer to the goal, And if we bypasses that pressure with all the space behind, we have higher chances of. So it's going to be a big Russian roulette unless we take advantage and dominate the game, which I think we could do. It won't be an easy thing because, again, at home, at Anfield, the crowd will get into it. And last game, Klopp was already starting to talk to his players. I saw the conference and he said, yeah, Liverpool can beat Arsenal. He's trying to get in their head. get them gingered at least, even if it's just for this game, for the players to wake up to whatever it is that they were before. So his thinking is that big
That's a
of an
myth.
occasion.
That's not that whatever Liverpool was before is far gone. We're
Yeah,
not gonna see
but for
what
one
we're not
game,
gonna see. We're not gonna
for
see
one
what
game, you
Liverpool.
can do what you did
No,
to
no, 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 no.
United.
It's not gonna
That's the
happen for one
idea.
game. Look, let me take even Klopp himself is cruising at this point. Klopp and everyone is just cruising for the end of the season. So home games are gonna probably be more ginger than away games, which we've lost more away games this season than we have in the last how many seasons combined. So, but the fact that we're Liverpool, Arsenal themselves will not expect the old Liverpool. And Liverpool themselves are not going to expect the old Arsenal, obviously. If not just because of this season, because of the new additions that you guys have. Trossard is a problem, especially on that right side, left side. So, but at the same time, we also have, we still, aside from Anfield, we still have a way to beat a high pressing team. This is the same way we beat City. I mean, City don't sit back; they come at us, and they've only won how many games in the against us? Even at Anfield, they haven't won since 2015. They've won 1 or 2 games against us in how many seasons? So even in Champions League, we've always have that edge against them. So being open does not necessarily mean a lot of goals. What's going to lead to a lot of goals are individual errors, errors from us mostly, errors from the back, and then midfield. Like I always said, every time when Liverpool play Arsenal, the midfield battle is always a battle. If Henderson plays, hopefully Thiago has been in training now for a couple of days. Hopefully he plays. So if we have Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago, I feel like we can match up pretty well in the middle. The problem will be on the wings, but at the same time, we still have the same threat that we do. It's just a matter of finishing it off.
Okay,
Do
so
you think even though we are at home, do you think that we will play less of a press the way we used to, but more of a counter attack? Because I think Arsenal's going
We
to have a lot of the ball.
absolutely
We don't have the energy to press the way we used to. I think we'll
we don't.
counter attack.
We don't. We will play on the counter, but I feel like it will all depend on what happens in the first 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
If we concede to Arsenal 2 goals in the first 25 minutes of the game, we're not gonna counter. We are going to come out and play, whatever.
Yeah.
But if we manage to score a goal or two, like what we did against City, we pressed, we countered against City actually. We played counter football, we scored, and then everything just went shit from there. Like we scored, and then first half we were still in the game in the first half, and the second half it was just like did they think they were at Anfield? We just started playing. The game changed at the second half, which is fine. It happens. It's City. But
Yeah.
if we can get that leg up against Arsenal like we do against City at home, then advantage us, and then Arsenal would be under a lot of more pressure even. So if we can do that in the first half, press maybe conservatively, but not as crazy as we used to. Press conservatively, get a goal or two, and then we can play on the counter. But if the first 25 minutes of that game goes Arsenal's way, it's going to be a very long night for us for Liverpool.
Yeah, but you can't
Exactly.
afford to press conservatively though, because if you play press conservatively, we're gonna bypass that press. We're gonna play
Not,
over
not,
it through it.
no. Conservatively means that we're not going to go all out, and then it's going to be similar to what City did. City didn't get a chance. If City can't do it the way that they wanted to, I don't see Arsenal doing it the way that they want to. I mean, give us some
But
kind of credit.
you also need to give Arsenal more credit than that, because if
I
you actually
do.
think, wait,
I do. I
the
respect what
comment
Arsenal is
you made,
doing.
the comment you made indicates that you think City actually are better at possessing and breaking teams down, and that's not the case.
No, 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 no. I'm
Because
saying
if you
that if
look,
City had
and
City, no, no, no.
if City
Actually,
couldn't
City
do it,
do over the history of I don't know. There's
yeah, but
this
we're not
mini rivalry that we've had
we're
against
talking
City.
about this season, right? We're talking about this season, right? So this season, even when we played City, our team were able to dominate City. Now, yes, they were clinical and they took advantage of the errors we made, but we were even able to dominate City. And when we played you last time, we put you under pressure, even when the game was tied. Like when the game was, we played you guys, and you were basically playing in your own 18. We pressed him, we pressured him. So if you
I
come
think we remember
Arsenal,
that game differently, but
okay,
okay.
sure, you can remember it differently. I mean, you guys don't remember much this season. Liverpool fans have a lot of amnesia this season. So, but the Arsenal actually have they're very good at playing through presses. They're very good at breaking and penetrating. And while City had Haaland, which is the reason City are above everyone else in the goal tallies. However, you put the ball close to the box, he can score from anywhere and anyhow. That's the difference. Arsenal are still scoring a lot of goals and doing everything without Haaland because we don't rely on one person. We go through so many avenues to score. Our goals come from wingers, left, right, strikers, or the forward, or the midfielders, even the defenders. We score goals from everywhere. Everyone on our team, our starting team, has scored goals except Holden, who's not really a starter. So that tells you about the team that we score goals, we penetrate teams, we break teams down. It's not just based on one aspect. City, most of their goals come through Haaland. If it's not Haaland, it's occasionally Mahrez or maybe De Bruyne, Gundogan once in a while, but not so much this season. So their goals are limited. So yes, you guys are able to do that because if you restrict De Bruyne from getting the ball to Haaland, that's almost like 80% of the job done. With Arsenal, there's nobody that you stop that stops the way we play.